We will now go on with the agenda as listed, and why won't we then begin with item number 1, request for renewal of conditional use permit, Rito and Maria Jaques. Has it been a year already?
Alrighty.
Welcome back.
Good morning, my name is Victor Jaques.
Good morning.
I'm Erica Hernandez's daughter.
Thank you. Why don't you go ahead with your request for the renewal of the conditional use permit?
Well, my dad just wants his permit renewed, and I know that there was some stuff in last year that would have had to be done, and he hasn't gotten a chance to do that.
He has not.
Yeah, he was supposed to put, I guess, a fence up, or do something around the 5 acres, and due to the business, how down it is, he doesn't have the money to put, he wanted to put marquillas around it, and he has like no, he can barely pay his bills right now, that's how bad the economy is. And he hasn't had the money to put everything up to,
Dice que tenía que cercar el lado de los
what's that?
Rodríguez.
East side or west side?
East side.
The east side, I guess. He first had to do the east side of the 5 acres. It's two, I guess it's the 2.5 acres that he had to put fencing around. The side of the neighbors.
I think on the conditional use permit, if I may, Madam Chair,
Yes, please.
it wasn't to fence the entire acreage.
Right, it was just that side.
It was just to fence where materials are stored,
Oh, okay.
stuff. So then that way it doesn't look like, maybe trash or debris or something like that.
¿Qué tenías que sacar? Nomás me tenías que meter la sola.
No, se tenía que cercar el lado de la vista.
Well, I guess what he understood was he had to do that, those 2.5 acres to cover the neighbors, which is the, what's that? East side. That was his understanding, I don't know.
Okay, well, if I may, we're looking back in our packet. We have a copy of the minutes from that meeting, and it reads that you will construct a fence to keep debris from blowing into the neighbor's property, and that you consider the neighbors. It doesn't really read to me that it was one portion. I think that it could have been explained to you, or you could have asked the questions. However, I'm concerned because I certainly wanted to work with you guys and understand that you're trying to run a business. I understand that the economy is not in the greatest of shape right now. However, just looking at the photos provided, couldn't the debris have been removed or piled or stacked? It is piled, but maybe stacked or just gotten rid of. Like, is this material a part of the business, or is this just stuff that needs to be disposed of?
Yeah, some of it he does use for his
Okay, so the the plywood and the scrap boards and so forth are a part of the tree. He does tree harvesting, correct?
yeah, landscaping and stuff.
Pero las tablas son para eso.
Looking for stuff.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Another thing was he was concerned about the hours because you guys decided to put like a 9 to 5 or something, which like when he can use his like his Bobcat and stuff like that. When it's like the summertime, 5 o'clock he's still in Albuquerque working. So he was requesting the hours to be changed to a later date, like a later time.
Okay. Well, just personally for myself, I certainly like to work with people and see what we can do to make it happen, but I would have been much more willing to come to the table if there would have been some action on the side of of y'all just wanting to make some progress. So I'm going to take that into consideration during my decision. Commissioner Freiberger, do you have any questions, comments?
Can we delay the renewal until these conditions are met?
Yes.
I would be more in tune to delay the renewal of the permit until these conditions are met.
So he's supposed to fence where the stuff is stored or to the side of the neighbors?
Is Steve in here?
Yeah, and he has his hand raised. You can come forward,
Yes.
Steve. Good morning.
Steve Ditcho, planning and zoning. Yes, there are a couple of inaccuracies here. We did discuss this with Mr. and Mrs. Hopkins in the spring regarding the fence, that the fence only had to enclose that portion where they were storing materials. They didn't have to fence the whole acreage. And in May, after receiving a complaint, when I first talked with Mrs. Hawkes after that meeting and that was explained, we were given the excuse that because of the snow in the mountains that Mr. Hawkes wasn't able to get up there to cut his loquias. And so, you know, we've just been keeping an eye on it. But as far as the fence, yes, it only has to be enough for them to keep their materials stored inside to provide a blind. That's all we require of anybody that has to have that condition done.
Okay, thank you so much. Commissioner Tapia?
Last November, I was on vacation, and even if I was here, I would recuse myself because this is my backyard. I sold Mr. Hawkins the property, and it was that he was going to live there, not put a business there, so I will have to recuse myself again.
Thank you, Commissioner. So we're now at the table, and I will entertain a motion either to approve, deny, or extend. Commissioner Freiberger, what's your pleasure? Oh, yes. Is there anyone who would like to speak for or against this request? Yes, ma'am. You can please come forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Just please state your name for the record and
Yes,
then.
I'm Josephine Dominguez.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Dominguez.
Good morning. I'm the neighbor that they have been talking about. And I don't think anything has been done to comply with the fence and the removal of all that wood that's over on almost on my side. And the going and coming are all the day, in the morning way over 8 o'clock, way before 8, and in the evening he'll drive up at midnight if he can. So I know it's hard for you folks to keep track of this, but I'm telling you what I know. So whatever you guys decide is fine.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Dominguez.
Thank you.
Have a Merry Christmas.
You too.
Well, Commissioner Freiberger, my opinion on this particular matter is, like I said before, I really just want to extend an opportunity for business owners and residents to have adequate time to work on their issues and be neighborly, but I really feel like it's been a year, and because the economy has been slow, I think there would have been time to, work on it. So I'm not in favor of extending, of granting the renewal, because I don't feel that there has been any activity on your part. If Commissioner Freiberger was interested in extending the request, how quickly could a fence be put up?
Do you think that they should be
Esto puede subir a afectar la luz. Sí, si no nieva, todo obviamente.
cuando te vas a la montaña y es traer suficiente fuerza y tienes que acercarlo más donde tienes tus botas.
Mr. Cancha, while they are discussing that, is there any requirements of the type of fencing that needs to be up? Does it just need to block the view?
Yeah, no, as long as it's a privacy fence that blocks the view of the construction materials from the neighbors, that's all it has to be. It can be latillas, it can be a board fence, but it has to be, it can be chain link with slats in it, as long as it's opaque and hides the materials from the neighbor's view.
Okay, thank you, sir. Commissioner Freiberger?
I believe that a year was long enough, and then listening to the neighbor, Ms. Dominguez, talk about the hours of operation that are extended beyond the 9 to 5. At this time, I am inclined to make the motion that we deny the renewal of the conditional use permit until the neighbors are satisfied and the fence and everything are put up, and then reconsider it at that time.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Question for council, as that, the way he said his motion, is that okay? I mean, does it kind of make it clear or unclear?
What I understand his motion to be is that he's moving to deny, but there's no reason that they can't still go
Reapply.
out and put up the fence and
Come back.
try to get into compliance and then come back and apply for a new permit.
Okay,
I
thank you
think
very
that would
much.
be okay.
Okay, thank you for making that clear. I will second the motion, and I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Tapia has recused herself from this vote. The motion does now pass, and the renewal was not approved. I apologize, but we did give you a year, and you do have some options available to you, and I hope that you can find a way to work with your neighbors.
There's no way to work with me.
Oh. Maybe there's a way. I hope that you guys can find a way. Steve? And that'll be the last comment, and then we will be going forward to item number 2.
I just want to be clear on what the commission wants. If they do the fence and they come back for another conditional use permit, they'll start again with coming before the board for a brand new conditional use.
That's
I believe so.
correct.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, guys.